Toriano.
What's up, brother?
How you doing?
Amazing.
Awesome.
Always. How you feel?
It's a little cold out there for me, but
Hey, Joe, real.
yeah, I need to get down to Miami like you do sometimes.
Dude, that's why in Miami. This confirmed. No, if you're in the Midwest and you're like, if you're into the cold, that's one thing. But if you're here and you're not really happy, you need to go.
I know. I think I'm with that guy. I think I'm that guy, but I'm just denying it because the people here, just the hustle here, it's so great.
Yeah.
Only other place I would move that's not nice would be like New York. I would do New York City.
Really?
Yeah. What is it about New York that you don't like?
Man, New York's dirty. I'm just
Yeah.
saying, man. New York's a garbage can. I mean, I mean, they cleaned it up at one point, but New York's not. But no, I'm a Miami person, man. I just like energy.
What's that tech neighborhood there? Is it Wynwood or
Wynwood? Yeah, Brickell.
Yeah.
However, I mean, since that FTX deal, man, Miami. I mean, I was supposed to be in Art Basel this week, but then I was like, man, I think it's kind of like an overcast from the FTX thing, and that's really like people are like, what do you think of that? And it's unfortunate that whenever a new tech develops or anything develops, for the most part, that there's going to be your charlatans in the beginning, you know, and then cream always rises, but that always happens. Like everything that bubbles busts. So and it's cool that went first. Yeah,
the FTX thing. So much of the news right now is so negative, right? We were talking today about some of these tech layoffs and the FTX thing. Maybe it is a good thing for the future entrepreneurs, people that are doing crypto, Web 3.0 kind of stuff, to see what it looks like to do it the bad way or the unethical way.
Right.
But it's a podcast about just personal development. I touch on tech a lot, and that's obviously a sweet spot for you, sweet spot for me. But I'm curious about you and your journey and your subject matter expertise in Web 3.0, NFTs, et cetera. But maybe let's just start, call it 5-10 years ago, maybe longer than that. You said you were working, you've always been someone that sells marketing, right? Tell me more about that, transitioning into tech, into NFTs, educating people on the things you know.
I feel like it all started in 1984, with Run DMC. And my book is going to be called Dreaming in Digital. So here's Run DMC designing with Rick Rubin in their college dorm room this thing called rap music, which at that time, no one thinking that there's going to be a billionaire one day called Jay-Z, 1984. That's happening in New York. And then over here in California, you have this guy in his garage making this thing called a computer. And people ask him, why would you want to compute anything? You mean, so look at those parallels of like, here's a company in a garage called Apple. Here's this company in the dorm room called Def Jam, right? And then now you'll never see, I'll challenge you, next time you watch some commercials, count how many commercials have hip hop beats in it.
Sure. Yeah.
So we know hip hop is in everything we use on a day-to-day basis. Every Apple commercial is pretty much hip hop. Apple would end up connecting with iTunes to legalize what was going on with the decentralized Napster. Everyone needs iTunes. And Jay-Z ended up creating Tidal. You mean, so tech and music started. So I feel like for me, it started Metaverse Web 1, or I would say Web 0 was 84.
You were super interested in that as a medium.
As they were.
I listened to a podcast recently where Ruben was talking about how he sampled literally like a portion of Run DMC to create, or some other song to make that beat. And what he's doing is he's talking about the analog beats, and then he's turning it into a digital medium, right? And I think that what you said about the computer mixed with that, that's what I hear there is like it's a mixing of the 80s with the 90s to create something bigger, which is now computing, right?
Right. But in 84, no one would have thought that this guy in his garage would become a titan, just a titan. No one's thinking that this guy in his dorm room, right, would have Beastie Boys, LL Cool J, Run DMC, Public Enemy, Jay-Z, you mean Run DMX, you mean like just this empire of music, mega stars Apple, iWatch, the lap, iPad, just revolutionized how the stores. I mean, but just think of how those two companies, like what was happening in 1984 in the world. But then fast forward, here we are in 2023. So now we have metaverse, this technology, but now it's not one Steve Jobs, but there's many. Because now, once again, the score is 0-0.
Yeah, when I think about that time, and just think about Rick Rubin, he's done so many #1 hits, top 10 hits. He is kind of like the Steve Jobs of his world.
Right.
But now if I think about music is a technical digital medium, talk about commercials.
Right.
It's in everything. These are kind of like paralleling different worlds. Steve Jobs, Rick Rubin, they're titans. They are gods in their own element, right? But one of the things I talked to you about was metaverse, right? How can I, as Nick, be in this other world and become a god to myself in this world? Doesn't everyone want that, right? So for the people that might be more nascent about what metaverse is, speak to me like I'm my grandfather, like I'm your grandfather. What is it and why should I care?
So metaverse is really simple. I think everyone knows the word balling. Right?
Yeah, balling, like you got it going on.
You got it going on.
Yeah.
You're balling.
You're balling.
Let me throw another one at you.
Okay.
What's this one? He's balling out.
Hell, he has it on a string, like he's out there, he's doing big stuff.
Right.
Or it's like he's crashing and burning.
Either or, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Balling out. Or it could be like, man, he's balling out.
Like he's killing it. Yeah.
Right. So I'm saying in the future, there's going to be, he's twinned up. Like Nick, super twinned up.
He's twinned up.
Twinned up.
Oh, I remember this conversation. It's like I got this black hoodie on.
Right.
I got blonde hair. It kind of goes this way, right? That dude in the metaverse looks just like Nick.
Right.
And he has a baller ass suit from Prada, right?
Right.
And in the real world,
right.
And in the metaverse, he has the same suit.
Right.
He's twinned up.
Super twinned up.
Yeah.
You mean, and then you just start doing, now you hired a graffiti artist, oil, sculptor, professional painter, art psychologist, all these people in one room saying like, how do we make Nick's virtual 3D world when I put these glasses on? I'm experiencing, wow, this is already freaking me out because it looks like I'm looking at Nick, I'm talking to Nick, right? And it is Nick, it's just Nick at home behind this robot. But now, just the psychology, just that neurolinguistic programming, that at a certain point your subconscious just attached to the visual that it's seeing. We know we do that anyway, which is why we're watching TV. I mean, if you watch, these people start assimilating to the characters that they watch on TV. You mean they watch it just once, could be episodes of Fight Club. I mean, watch it be episodes of Friends, that assimilating to that character. But now just think of it like with intent of you making your caricature, your twin. You mean your other, your hologram, your matrix. I mean, so that when I don't surf the internet, when I walk into the internet, because I've put on these glasses that allow me to enter this virtual augmented world, at that moment in time, I made one too. But I'm even more twinned up, right? Because when you enter mine, I have people that are always in there. I have a butler. So I have someone that is sitting somewhere that is just, he's my butler. This was my maid. This was my cook. So if you put something in there, I'm not there, right? You're going to have a whole virtual experience of that. There's a whole team of people. But dude, I'm super twinned up because I got the lawn care guy too. I mean, I'm super twinned up. I got the virtual pizza guy. Because at a certain point, those things are happening virtually, but that virtual pizza also too did actually paste my order at Luigi's. You mean, so it's coming to the house. I mean, I actually did call for the lift because I'm in the lift, but I still got my glasses on. But then that company Lyft has made a metaverse that allows me to connect my metaverse to theirs.
One of the things I'm seeing is the way you're speaking, the way you're understanding is that you're speaking like the metaverse is the real thing. And I'm sitting, when I even just me stipulating that's the real thing versus not, I'm seeing them as two different worlds, or one is real, one is less real, one is, you know, more significant. I sense you've almost crossed that plane already, where you're seeing the metaverse as the most important thing in the room, no matter what room you're in.
Right.
You know, and I'm sitting here saying, how can I apply this to my work physically, using my physical fingers with bones and things on my keyboard to create things in this real world? You know what I mean? So that's my challenge.
I mean, you'll be able to, maybe this will help you, because I mean, think of this. Now you know that you can make X amount of money today here on Earth.
Yes.
By doing whatever it is you do.
Yes.
Right. You know, you can make money off the internet, right?
Correct.
So you can have your day job and you can know that you make X amount of money by selling wooden bow ties off your Instagram.
Yes.
You look in your account at the end of the day, you have X amount of online sales. It's the same thing, but we're not looking at it in 1D or 2D. We're looking at it in 3D, where someone is manning the website, like how you have someone online, then where you take your orders. Now you just have someone that has the Oculus glasses on that's manning your virtual store. You mean,
so you literally mean your butler is a physical person sitting somewhere on this earth,
right? Who's
creating your reality here. You know, he's physically twinning you up and
right.
And
okay, so there's someone actually behind that remote control.
Okay, so I wasn't quite as far away. That I thought for some reason that was also a virtual person, that the butler was a virtual butler, the cameraman was a virtual cameraman. You're saying those are real people, or it's the same person wearing
it's the same person.
Yeah,
it's the same person sitting somewhere, but he's your butler in real life. Your butler up there. So you made his twin also. Digital twin.
And the reason that it's better to be more twinned up, to be more authentically, accurately twinned up, as opposed to less twinned up, is because there's a value to putting things in the metaverse.
Absolutely,
it's more expensive to get a Prada suit in the metaverse than it is to get.
So here, this piece of artwork we have right here. Right, this is you know. This is a piece from Miles Davis that comes with his album, Some Kind of Blue.
Okay.
I have this here in my office, but then I have this also up there digitally.
Yes.
Right. And there's only 10 of them in the world. Right. So being super twinned up is being able to say that this thing right here is a form of currency because it's art here. Right. In the same way, I can ship this from here to Italy, right? I'm going to be able to say, hey, this digital twin, I'm going to send that to your place, your metaverse. So your metaverse up there acts as your own little bowl that holds this piece that costs $2 million, right?
Okay.
And so I owe you $1.5 million. So then I can then give you that digital asset.
Yeah,
it's transfer it to you.
It's the authentic thing,
right?
And what's the reason that you're pointing up? Is it that's where the cloud is?
That's where the cloud is. That's where that metaverse is. But what I'm saying was that if this has 10 in real life and then 10 up there, the 10 up there actually are going to cost more than the 10 down here because of what they had to do to replicate that experience.
Yeah,
and the fact that we can transfer it and that we have all agreed that it's worth that. So then when you have a meeting in your metaverse, someone's like, how'd you get that Miles Davis Some Kind of Blue? There's only 10 of them. Yeah, I know. He owed me some money.
Yeah. So it's resources. It takes work. It takes money to get 10 of those up there.
Right.
To the metaverse.
And then once they're up there, they give you access. Because then you can, in the future, there'll be different things where that piece has a number that's attached to it, and then the representation of that piece and that number will be the thing that gets you inside of that private club, because you'll show it and you're like, oh wow, this is on, they'll scan it and be like, oh yeah, this is authentic.
Super rare, authentic.
Right.
Like any.
So now we're about to have this event at MoMA, New York, where Lenny Kravitz is performing. You know what I mean? And Martha Stewart and Snoop are hosting it. You know what I mean? This is a super black tie affair for veterans of PTSD.
Okay.
You're getting in
with
that because you own that.
With the representation, with the real thing that represents a real thing.
Right.
Got it. Okay. What are the implications with this? Like, I have so many questions. Why is it not taken off at Facebook, which is now named Meta, right? Why is it not taken off there? And why are brands hiring you? Why are they struggling so hard to understand this? What do you think is stopping it from being?
Because they're trying to blend centralized and decentralized. They can't be blended.
These are current financial currencies?
No, well, Facebook is centralized, Bank of America is centralized.
Yeah, okay.
Instagram is centralized, Comment is centralized, right?
They have their own walls and
they have
things that are
Facebook
there.
Facebook can never ever do porn.
Yes.
They can never say that we're going to do things about the Tanzanian war. You mean publicly?
They want to create their own economy, but they're bound by the fact that they
have certain ethos.
Yeah,
that restricts them from doing certain things that would be vaguely considered confident. Like Trump was kicked off Twitter.
Yes,
that's a centralized ethos.
Yeah.
A decentralized ethos is one, the open ledger, so the transactions are public. Also, the smart contracts where you can see these contracts are public. You mean you can see once they're posted on the blockchain.
Yes,
they can't be changed, so it makes it a clean contract, right?
Yeah,
we all have agreed.
You're removing the walls that used to be held up by Bank of America's lawyers. Right.
And then most I would say most importantly on the internet, you own your content. Now you post a picture or video or type something clever, Facebook owns that content, right? And decentralized, my platform, I don't own your content. I mean, I'm not going to reuse your content without you saying. I would create a system where you say, hey, here are pictures I want you to use for promotions, or I want to make, we would share off that image because that image would be just like this again.
Got it.
I mean, you still own the rights of that image. So if I use that image somewhere, it pops up that this number is being used so that you are always getting paid off this piece.
I think what we've done is we've effectively shifted from the conversation. And again, this is you speaking 800 level to my grandparents. To you, it's 100 level, right? Centralized, decentralized. These are words to describe what I could see as an economy, right? Right now we use cash and we use Bank of America, or we use Facebook likes as an economy. Right. These are all centralized economies, but this, what it sounds like is you're transitioning it to a crypto kind of speak. And for that reason, crypto as a economic scale is what makes sense in the metaverse. Am I guessing that correctly? Or
yeah. I mean, because everything started off originally decentralized. So you take slavery and a slave hierarchy, right? Hey, I work in the kitchen, so I was able to bring these sugar cubes home. Okay. I work in the fields, so I was able to bring some extra little corn. Right. I'm the butcher, so I was able to bring some of these pig parts. I mean, I did the seamstress, so I was able to bring, some of the scraps to make the napkins, right? Which one's more valuable? The sugar, the corn, the handkerchiefs, you mean, or whatever. It's so, but like we control that trade. You mean it's like there's no regulations other than what you and I have made up. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's no government influence. Now, if we start doing the larger scales, now we're changing acres. Now we're changing to it. I mean, that's how everything came. The SEC came into existence because people were giving people loans on their farms. Like, let's help Bob out over here. You mean we give him X amount of money. When he makes his money back, we'll all get shares until rug pulls and other things got weird. So,
and you're saying the SEC came trying to get the government to get their fair slice? Or?
No, I'm not saying the government, but people were doing the wrong thing. So it had to get regulated because it went beyond just a small group of people exchanging seashells for walrus teeth, or corn for sugar. it was more sugar that needed to get traded. It was more things that commodities and then other things that advanced what we now consider currency. I mean, because it was easier to exchange a dollar than a corn. I mean, but now we're getting to the point where physical money is too slow.
Yeah.
Right. And now it's going to get to the point where exchange rates are going to be too slow. I should have to convert a yin into a euro or a shilling into, a peso. That there'll be a universal coins or coins that will be used, currency that will be used within that particular metaverse.
Yeah.
That will have then different access points or VIP points. We go back to the original what I said with the blue painting idea. Right. It wasn't that you just owned that blue painting. That blue painting came with all kind of different rights and privileges and access points. It'll be like a 15, 20 page contract that came with it and said, oh, it's like, it's like the Maybach concept. You own a Maybach, you get in this car, you pick up the phone and say, hey, I want tickets to the Celtics game night. Yes, sir, because you're paying X amount for a service. Now you're paying X amount for access.
Yeah.
Okay. Makes sense?
It does, because one of the things you said is like the blue painting. I asked you about in the beginning, it's metaverse, NFTs, and crypto, or Web 3.0, whatever those are. These all concepts of Web 3.0, or I'm trying to put things in boxes.
So Web 3. So just backing up. So Web 1.0, here it is, and then under it was AOL. It was dial-up, sure. Yep. I mean, it was Ask Jeeves. I mean, and then those things, all they could really do was transmit text. They could kind of submit some images, but if an image was too big, your computer crashed and it was slow. You had to turn it off and reboot.
Yep.
Web 2, now you have high-speed internet. You have the beginning of super apps, Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, but they're all still babies. I mean, they're still very rudimentary, right? Yeah. They're starting off because Facebook started off, it was just only for college students. If you didn't have an college email address, you couldn't get in. That was decentral. That means it was decentralized. Gmail, I remember when Gmail, like you only got 10 Gmail accounts. You had to find someone that had a Gmail and then you could share that account.
Then they could share,
right? Because I knew people that were selling Gmail accounts.
Dang, okay.
I mean, that was like back in.
I remember that now.
Back in 05, it was like, man, I want one of those gangster accounts.
Yeah.
You mean, so that was back in 05. So that was decentralized, meaning only a select amount of people could have access. Meaning, then fast forward, now we're going into 03. You mean the metaverse, where now the fiber optics is going to be faster, 5G. You mean how fast? Quicker downloads, like there's no more buffering to watch a video. Right. It zoom. Like it's almost unheard of to have slow internet. Like anyone has slow internet, like, who is this?
Yeah.
Who's this caveman?
I know what you mean.
No one, especially depending upon where you're at. Like businesses now pride themselves off speed on the internet. Yeah. But now also too, they won't be surfing the internet. You're gonna, instead of these little boxes here, right? This would be like having a pager. It'll be like, oh, what's your Meta account? You mean boom, boom. So we can experience this in this room that's designed that looks just like this, right? And then now you're into this whole Web 3, but Web 3 is going to have other things to it. It's going to have the software, it's going to have the glasses, it's going to have little boxes here that will be like virtual touch. So I'll do something like this. My touch might be like this. Yours might be like this. Oh, yeah, that's Nick's handshake, right? As we're talking, I might just be. There might be something where some new form of language.
And you're wearing the goggles.
Right, you got the goggles on. There might be another machine over here that's doing virtual scent. To mean to mimic the smell of a fresh office while wherever we're at, experiencing the glasses and the touch. I mean, it will be full body suits. You mean that will infiltrate, the intimacy or someone that might be in a hospital that's paralyzed. You mean so they can experience their loved one virtually. Yeah. You mean someone that's in prison. You mean can experience walking around, so that they found now studies that allowing people to have these virtual walks outside of prison, made them rehabilitate back. I mean, so those would be more toys that will attach to Web 3. It won't be the amount of plugins, if you will, that will happen so that the line between reality and augmented reality will be so thin.
Yeah, I'm with you. What I'm hearing is that it went from almost like this you said you used the economy of slavery, or, you know, corn, sugar, trading things. It went from this decentralized kind of situation to centralized, and now we're almost back to decentralized. We also went from web 1.0, there's a function of speed with internet there too.
Yep.
And it went from having these resources. I have more corn than less corn, therefore it's better. I have more speed than less speed, therefore it's better. It might just be to this point where it's like, it's a direct connection, like electricity volts, right? Or some sort of like connection, right? It's just instantaneous. So I'm trying to, what I'm just saying, putting things in boxes, I'm trying to consider the differences between these three different webs, but also what you're saying about NFTs, like I'm trying to see how a physical thing and a digital thing are separate, but also the same. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have the NFT that's authentic, it's not the same. So like these use cases you're bringing up, prisoners that get rehabilitated better when they go on these virtual walks, or what you said about working with the airlines, right? There are so many use cases here that people haven't even considered yet. And you probably know hundreds of them. One of the things I'm struggling with is this physical body I have. If I'm sitting in a chair with goggles on, let's just say you and I both worked out today. We both had a really tough workout today in our own regard. If I'm sitting in this chair, I can't have that workout. At what point do my eyes, my stomach, my need to eat, my physical body's need to eat, at what point does that affect my ability to have a certain experience in the metaverse?
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I brought up the prisoner use case, or the using garbage in a positive way use case. The negative, I'm trying to say, what's the negative here? What if I get hungry? What if I need the smoke break? You know, like, do companies, brands ever challenge you and say, this isn't going to work because of this negative use case? So I just said a lot, but let me know more about that.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great question. So basically, what are the negative effects of sitting in a chair with glasses on and doing all these experiences?
Or maybe there's a way to wear the goggles and also be able to live your life and have almost like, remember Dragon Ball Z, like Goku, Vegeta had that little like almost Google Glass kind of thing going on. Like, if there's a way for you to live safely and eat while you're also experiencing amazing things in the metaverse, wouldn't it be amazing to be in two places at once?
Well, and that's really it. I see two things happening. One is going to start off very just where it's at right now. There's these big glasses on, and you're sitting there and you have them on, and that's it. Or you're sitting there and you're doing something interactive like skiing or playing ping pong. But then I see that then advancing to where you're going to have the suits, you're going to have, the gloves and just more things that make the experience more interactive. But then at a certain point, it's just going to be a fabric of your life because we're already cyborgs. You mean
with these boxes,
we're already cyborgs.
Yeah.
Because either we got earbuds in our head,
I know,
or we're doing this. If you check, like I know for a fact, I'm doing probably 600 hours per month on the phone.
I know. Like,
I mean, and I got
wild. And
right.
I don't even maybe I shouldn't admit this. I don't even want to stop. It's so damn useful and so stimulating that it's difficult for me to see this as anything other than part of my brain.
No, I mean, I got two phones. Like this right here, this equals money. I can just sit here and find something. I'll go through one text message like, oh yeah, forgot about that. Boom. Oh yeah, boom, forgot about it. So I mean, where I'm going with this is that the technology is going to advance where at some point in time, we are going to have neural plants. I mean, at a certain point in time, there will be glasses that it won't be the big chunky, it'll be a contact.
Yeah.
You mean it will be where it'll be controlled. We will be hardwired. You mean, we already are. I mean, because now the only difference right now is like it's external versus internal. And it kind of freaks us out like, but I mean, we already know that science is already putting mechanics inside of bodies.
I'm the kind of person that I'm like, yes, use my data, make the ad better for me. If I could have a chip in my finger that makes it quick to pay, I would do it. But some people wouldn't.
Well, what I'm saying is that it's coming though.
Yeah,
it's inevitable. I mean, when you think about companies that are doing different kind of biometrics that are out there,
Mhm.
you mean it's like someone is into that. I mean, like, so someone's going to be into that hardware. So as the hardware advances, no, it will be in part of your, like, just taking football, for example, how they have it in the helmet, it already be, the whole screen might be inside of the contact. You know what I mean? They might be feeding him different plays. It might be reading him the stats of, like, the statistics of the likelihood that he's going to make this first down. I mean, it's going to be a lot more interactive all around. I mean, we'll be able to actually see what that quarterback sees. You mean from POV?
Yeah.
You mean, or the whole team, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, metaverses are going to be good. Or I mean, the clothing is going to be in the fabrics of the clothing at some point in time. That's what I'm saying. The technology is going to move. Like, once it's really, like, I was very encouraged today because of all the bad press that's been going on. But I was so encouraged today when I heard that Puff Daddy was doing they're doing a Biggie Smalls event in the metaverse.
Oh, okay.
You mean, because just think about this, because then I'm calling it the nerd theory. I mean, no one ever really dies, right? Because you can program. You just think about if you want to live forever. I want to live forever, right? You could program your avatar with every little idiosyncrasy that you know about yourself, every nickism that existed. So that when you're gone, your loved ones are like,
that's him.
Let's put this on, because I'm basically, and you programmed it out. I mean, you programmed it out. You give enough content, like, dude, after I'm gone, who cares? I'm gonna tell every freaking secret, everything I never really freaking said. And it's gonna be low key. People gonna be like, I can't wait till he dies so I get to see what's inside of him. Oh shit! Like, there's not the father. He's like, I mean, it'll become just second nature. It won't even be something that we talk about. It'll be no different than having a Facebook account.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm trying to get to the bottom of here. Is when I think about the glasses sitting in the chair, not being hungry, I'm thinking of the limitations. You're saying there's so much good, not good, bad, whatever. There's so many options,
right,
in the metaverse. If you're there and you can live forever, if I'm sitting in this chair, or let's say that it's so good that I can have the glasses that are basically just contact, and I can live there while walking around the Loop in Chicago. I'm living there while living here. Is there a situation that goes the other way? You're there and you want to be here. See what I'm saying? Do you think that once things expand in the next 100 years, get better, it becomes more of what we do on a daily basis, that people will want to return to this? And the answer is, if you say, I don't know, that's okay.
But, well, the answer goes back to what I said earlier, is how twinned up are you? Because then part of being twinned up is going to be having that balance, because then it's like, some people will be like, this will be so over exaggerated. You mean with their real life? You mean like, yeah, but he looks like shit. You mean like, but you're going to want to invest. And that's the thing too, that I want to be conscious of, because my wife's a yoga instructor and a Reiki, and she's not hardcore into social media. Yeah. So I've been thinking to myself, like, okay, I think there has to be a culture like, hey, you know what, guys? And that's the thing too. I see no one's trying to go hang out with Mark Zuckerberg. And you haven't heard of a Facebook ball or gala. And he has the money. He could have one of the biggest galas that are out there. Bill Gates could too, but that's not part of their ethos. I see in the future, you're going to have tech companies that are going to be like, dude, freaking, Toriano Sanzone just do this event, where they rented out the entire aquarium and brought in, it was renditions of Dr. Dre's song played by this orchestra, and then they had brought these sushi chefs from. There'll be these events because the culture will be like, hey, let's not just be all on our phones. Let's meet up in the real world. So there's a matching. There'll be more consciousness in the health and wellness. Right now, the average person spends 4.5 hours per day just on Facebook. You know what I mean? So you take Facebook, Instagram, email, text messaging, throw in a couple of phone calls there. It doesn't include if you TikTok. It doesn't include if you're a Twitter, but you're doing those 5 for sure. Most people are doing those 5 for sure. So they're on their phone 5-6 hours a day anyway. We're just going from being one-dimensional, linear, maybe 2. We say let's FaceTime. Now we're saying this is gone and we're in 3D. So we're doing the same thing. It's just the experience is more intense. We still are surfing like I want to buy a brand new belt off Amazon. So what I do, I click into Amazon, I go like this.
Yeah.
I click this. Now I want to buy something off Amazon. I'm going to go like this, walk through this, do this. You know how it looks virtually. Walk to the register where there's going to be someone that's actually that register on that register in real life and up there. Purchase it, take them off and come back home.
Yeah, I just thought of something cool, and I want to wrap up here in a second, but the Neuralink is a really important piece.
Yeah,
because in that situation, walking up to the register, try it on. That's all like movement of my muscles, my biceps, triceps, whatever, contraction, detraction, whatever it is. But with the Neuralink, it's like my mind is saying walk this way. It's like instead of even commanding walk this way, it's almost like a natural thing that just happens. Right.
Yeah.
And I think that's what would make people like my grandparents, my parents, maybe start to understand the value of it. I think people part of this conversation for me is my education, right? I'm trying to massage out people's fears and lack of understanding about it. And I think that I'm not trying to say what your wife is or isn't, but there are a good amount of those people that say, be grounded, be present, be at one place at once.
Right.
That's better. That's more noble. That's more healthy than being in 2 places at once, than being on your phone all the time. Right. And I would like to consider what it would take for those folks to be turned to the dark side.
And this what we're bringing up to that evil dark side is saying, like, what I would love right now is for someone to hear my grandmother and see her hologram and her explaining how she makes that banana pudding.
Oh man.
How she made oxtail soup, how she had made devil oysters. Like sweet potato. Like those are things that have been wiped from our family history.
Totally. Yeah.
She was born in May 28th, 1919. Her father was a slave. Her mother was Choctaw, Native American. So it's like the information that she just had in her head from going from 1919 to 1994. What if we can archive as many stories as she could tell? Because at a certain point, we just start forgetting the stuff that my son will just never know.
Yeah,
it's white. But think of them as just these scribes, us being our own historians, feeding it with as much information as we want. Programming it that it can be released 5 years after we're gone, 10 years after we're gone, 20 years after we're gone, or whatever, 30 years after gone, or watch at your own risk. But the information won't be lost.
Yeah, I think that's something that anyone could get on board with is how, at least that's
telling your story.
Yeah.
Because most people, man, I was thinking about that on the way over here. I went to the doctor today. Gets checked out my prostate. Prostates are important.
You got it. You hear that, guys?
No, for real. And then I was thinking about it. My grandfather, Jesse Henry Freeman, died from prostate cancer. But I remember on his deathbed, he was saying all kind of just real shit, like, I didn't even know that. Like, that's heavy. When you're dying. So speak away. But imagine speaking in programming, not just speaking into a tape. But talking to someone where you've programmed that entire orchestra and you can give as much content as you want. Think of the therapy that you'd be doing for yourself while you're alive. You're like, you know what? I just finally said it is there. I'm not going to wait till I die to say this. I'm going to tell you right now. And damn, I don't have cancer anymore. I finally got that shit off my chest. Maybe that was the shit that was going to kill me. So it's going to be lots of psychological ways that this new other because really this has been done before. It happened with Second Life. But they didn't monetize it because it was still part of it became centralized in thought and ethos, the centralized mentality, the thought process that people will be responsible for their own content and what they put out there. And if people do put harmful things out there, that other people, metaverse will come and say, hey, this utopian idea, right? A chance for a new world, this different democracy. A new civilization. That we're all creating because we are all gods in our own little world and we're cultivating. Some might be 100 people, some might be 10,000. But a group of people have decided these are the rules and structure.
Yeah, this is probably my 26th or 27th episode.
Yeah.
And I've asked the same kind of questions to everyone, just about what they do and what they're interested in, and where do they find meaning?
Right.
And I think that one thing that always comes up is that people want to love and be loved, right?
Yep, absolutely.
And that's a big part of what I'm hearing you say is like, you don't really have to have constraints on how much you are loved.
Right.
And it's not even a selfish thing. Like, let your kids, if you're your grandpa, let your offspring love you.
Right.
Let your grandma, let them see how you make that banana pudding, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's such an amazing thing if that would be possible, right?
And let it live forever.
Yeah.
I mean, because then just think about it, like how in the Black culture, this Black kid just got shot. Black kid just did this every time you turn to the TV. But just think about like, wow, no, I just heard about how my great grandmother told me that they couldn't even go into certain parts of Lake Michigan. Lake Michigan was divided. There was a white side and a black side. And here I am complaining about going downtown.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's not enough that you read it in a history book. It's not enough that that you even heard the story of them, because people are visual creatures. But you're watching this person explaining it, and it's something you can watch over and over again. But then just think how much the ability to pour so much content, into your diary. It's a different kind of diary. You feel what I'm saying?
Yep.
Just think about and then just think about our famous leaders. Like, what if Dr. King's, all the stuff he would have put in there that he couldn't, people that couldn't just say things for legal reasons. Or just the value too. Like, hey, I just found out that Dr. King is my freaking uncle, and I was left with all these tapes. That could be monetized?
Yep. It would be a gift. It would be totally a gift to not even have tapes, like physical tape on a plague or wine. It's just there. It's just there. Right. It's omnipresent, and Dr. King can live forever. You could live forever. It's exciting.
I mean, and we just like, if I could prove that these were Pablo Picasso's paint cans, just a paint can, if there was some way to prove of that, it'd be worth something.
Of course, yeah.
Right? Probably a fair amount. That's what I'm saying. So we just think about everything we do, that we are Pablo Picasso's, right? Everyone is a JFK. Everyone's a Marilyn Monroe. Everyone's a Dr. King. Everyone is someone that their content, that notebook, they scribbled. The original freaking scribble of that last Grateful Dead song. The guitar.
I know what you're saying. It's only relevant because here in the real world, we've assigned value to Picasso being, that's the Picasso who was a painter, therefore his paint cans are relevant, right?
Right.
But if everyone gets to, if everyone is valuable to the point that their pencil from the 3rd grade mattered, there's so many reasons why that needs to be understood as something that's good. And I think that if people could understand those things and attach their own love to it, then that's what I'm hearing.
Well, absolutely, because then it gives a person the opportunity every day, right, to raise their value, which you're supposed to do anyway. But now you can actually see how you can monetize and raise the value of that, because I own that, right? But because I went and won the Nobel Peace Prize for changing energy, right? And I own that, the value of that changed also. But oops, I have 100 of those. So 100 of those now I'm worth 500,000. Now I'm worth 5 million each because I won the Nobel Peace Prize. So it wasn't that I made money off the Nobel Peace Prize. It's the fact that I won the Nobel Peace Prize and I have something that I own that now is a higher value.
Totally.
But now this pencil is a higher value too. Like this phone, one day this phone will be obsolete. But when someone want all my notes that are in this phone, so how much value is Tupac's phone?
I would want his notes.
You feel what I'm saying? What's in his phone? Someone has that phone. You feel what I'm saying? Are they gonna give up their phone? No. But they're gonna die one day, and someone else is gonna get that phone. Good. But I'm saying it gives us an opportunity to all be that celebrity, because we're decentralized. There's not one Bill Gates anymore. There's gonna be hundreds and thousands and millions of them. Cool. These little verses, these little places, these these micro, ecosystems that will all form, which happens now is going to happen in a different, more sophisticated, thought out, planned way.
Yeah. Thank you. I feel like I learned something.
Thank you, man. I feel like, hey, reciprocal, man. You're a great interviewer.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I'm honestly curious about this stuff. Yeah. So appreciate you coming by.
Appreciate you as well, brother.
Give me a couple days here to edit, and it'll be up there. I'll snip some stuff up for you, and
cool.
Let people know what it's all about. So
man, I love this, bro. I think you inspired me too, man.